I'm wondering
Yes.
if you can reiterate that, first of all.
Yes. Number one, act on your passion, whatever contains the most passion, no matter what it is, first. Act on it to the best you are able. Number two, taking it as far as you can until you can take it no further, until the excitement wanes, making sure you're not the one dampening the excitement with your own belief system. If you're not, then just act on it as best you can, taking it as far as you can till you can take it no further. Number three, act on your passion with no insistence, no assumption as to what the outcome ought to look like, where you think it should take you, so on and so forth, because you really don't know what the best outcome really needs to look like. Number four, remain in a positive state no matter what manifests. Even if what manifests is something you objectively don't prefer, you have to know from a positive position that it's got to be there for a reason that could serve you in a positive way. And if you maintain that positive vibration, you will understand how to use what you don't prefer in a way that you do. And it will serve you. You will extract the benefit from the situation rather than negativity from it by remaining in a positive state and knowing that it's got to be there for a reason. Those are the 4 steps that open up all the tools in the kit that begin to function automatically for you when you follow that 4-step formula as precisely as you possibly can.
Okay, and that's exactly what these questions are about, fine-tuning my precision in following those steps. So
All right.
the first question is, when you say excitement or passion, that also means most positive feeling. Is that accurate?
It can be. Again, it's what you're attracted to first. And this goes for any level in your life. In other words, it can be very simple. At any moment, you can have a number of choices available to you of things that you could take some action on. Taking a walk, reading a book, talking to a friend, eating a meal, what have you. Whichever one seems a little bit more exciting, a little bit more attractive, getting you to focus on it with some kind of idea of that's what feels right now, do that one first, as far as you can take it, until you can take it no further. And just keep doing that every time the excitement wanes or you've completed that particular action. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Very much so.
All right.
The next question is, do you have some sort of mechanism for discerning when, say, I'm making my excitement appear as my anxiety or my anxiety appear as excitement? Is there a mechanism to assist in discerning that?
Yes, it's called self-honesty. All you have to do is be aware that you really, when you stop and think about it, when you let yourself be your true self, you know the difference between what feels exciting and what feels like anxiety. All of you do. So it's just honest self-examination, honest self-investigation. You know the difference if you are honest with yourself.
I really do think I do. Can I give an example of something that I would call subtle, so to speak, to me at least?
Of course.
So, for example, most of the time when I feel like exercising or when I want to exercise, it is my excitement. Now, sometimes it's me saying, well, maybe I should be exercising in this case. And in those cases, it can be counterproductive if my body actually wants rest in that case. But the reason that I guess it's subtle to me is because I just assume, which I know isn't the wisest idea, I kind of assume that some things are almost always positive if they fit into a particular routine, but maybe the routine's off. Okay, I see what you're saying now. This is making more sense.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. You just have to realize that, in a sense, and this is a generalization, I know there might be exceptions, because sometimes it can be your excitement saying, hey, why don't you exercise now? But sometimes if you actually have to ask the question of yourself, should I exercise now? That might be an indication that that's coming from anxiety and a sense of what you're expected or should do, as opposed to it actually being your natural excitement, which if it was your natural excitement, you would probably just be exercising without even thinking about it.
That makes a lot of sense.
Now, there can be exceptions to this. That's why it takes honest self-examination, self-investigation to know the difference. But if you just stop and think about it, you can probably tell the difference.
Yeah, I completely agree, actually.
All right. Next.
Can you deliberately develop a sort of language between you and your higher mind, a sort of agreement where maybe this equals that sort of agreement. Can you do that sometimes?
There is already a language between you and your higher mind. That's what we're talking about. Passion, that sensation, excitement, curiosity, love, passion, creativity, that is your physical translation of the communication from your higher mind, because it's speaking to you in an energy language. But that's how your body translates that energy language. Passion is what lets you know you are being communicated with by your higher mind. And the message is, this is you. This is who you are. Act on this now. That's what the higher mind is telling you when you have that sensation. So there's already a direct communication. Your response needs to be the taking of the action, because the language of physical reality is action, not words. So when you do a physical action, that's when the higher mind knows you have heard it and are responding to it. And then it can send you more messages. Do this next. Now do this. Now do this. By sending that sensation that you translate as passion. Act on this now. Act on this one now. Following that thread of passion, which is the communication from the higher mind. And the more you keep acting, the more you will be given more opportunities to act on your passion. If you're not acting, you're not speaking the language of physical reality, you're not communicating with the higher mind, you're not responding to it in the proper language. And if you're not acting on what it's already said to you, what it's already given you to act on, why should it send you more opportunities to act on your passion if you're not willing to act on what it's already sent you? The communication is already there. That's what we're describing.
Okay, that's perfect. Yes, I just had to act on it more, I suppose.
Yes.
So next question is related to acting to the best of my ability.
Yes.
Once you're in the activity or in the action, should that be your dominant priority, your primary priority, to be acting to the best of your ability?
Why wouldn't it be?
Maybe it could be still being in tune with that sensitivity. I guess that would still qualify as acting to the best of your ability. Okay.
The idea of acting to the best of your ability also takes into account the parameters that exist in your particular reality, in your society, what you're actually capable of doing while maintaining integrity. In other words, you're not breaking your laws, you're not being unethical, things like that, because your society says we've agreed that these are the parameters that everyone will operate in order to be of service to everyone else and allow everyone to do what they need to do. So the idea is not only in your own personal ability to act, but also to what you have agreed are the parameters that allow you to take an action. That's all you need to understand about act on the best to your ability, taking it as far as you can until you can take it no further. And if you cannot act on it any further because of any of these parameters, that's your first clue that you need to look around for the next thing that contains more excitement than anything else and act on that next. Because whether it seems connected on the surface or not, the excitement lets you know it is connected to your path.
Perfect. Yeah, makes sense. So again, relative to best of acting to the best of my ability.
Yes.
There's a rule that I've heard, not a rule, but a suggestion going around, the 85% rule, where you act to the best of your ability to about 85% so that you leave that 15% for sort of being more relaxed and being more receptive.
Well, if you want to look at it that way, that's fine. But that's also saying that there's some kind of an assumption that if you act 100% as best you can, that you can't be relaxed. Why would you buy into something like that if you don't necessarily prefer to?
That's a great point too. My goodness. Okay.
Do it whatever way works for you. But the point is that that's just a way that some people have of interpreting the idea that works for them. But it's not a hard line fact that it is literally accurate in terms of percentages. Acting 100%, really, if you're following your passion, would by definition include your ability to relax, because why would your passion contain stress?
Mm-hmm.
You follow? That's a misunderstanding of the definition of passion. That somehow you have to shortchange it in order to be relaxed, instead of understanding that you can go full steam ahead, but full steam ahead would also mean that there is the capability of doing that in a way that allows you to be relaxed.
Perfect.
It's a more inclusive, holistic understanding that the definition is the definition, and a different definition is a different reality.
Okay. I agree again. Now, acting as far as you can. So to me, there are three possibilities that I see about this, and one would be until something else is more exciting.
Yes.
Two would be until it's fully resolved or it's come to full fruition.
Yes.
So of course there can be more connections and aspects, however, full fruition. And lastly would be if you appear to be stuck and it might be becoming seemingly excessively difficult, perhaps it would be time to do something else.
Or first, always first. If your excitement or ability wanes, first examine whether your beliefs are making it appear to wane, or whether it is really waning as part of your synchronicity.
Yes. So if it feels excessively difficult, to me, that would mean there's an opportunity to break it down more and see if there's more gradual steps that you could take so that it is easier.
Or completely different steps that are more in alignment with the way that works for you.
Okay.
If you have determined, however, that no such steps exist, and it's truly your excitement waning synchronistically to show you that something else needs to be done, then if you are, again, honest in your self-examination as to whether you're the one dampening the excitement or whether it's dampening on its own synchronistically, then you'll know what to do.
Okay.
Because many times you could continue to do something similar if you simply allow yourself to do it in a more exciting way. That can sometimes be the message. You may not be doing it in the way that actually works for you, can be creating the difficulty that you experience.
That makes a lot of sense. Next question is relative to the expectation or having no expectation or insistence on the outcome. And that is
no assumption or assistance. You can expect that something will happen, but you just don't have to be very specific about it. What you can expect is that if you allow it to be the natural outcome, it will serve you best. You can expect that. But when we say expectation, we mean insistence or assumption of a particular form that in your mind's estimation may not actually be the best outcome, yet it may have been trained to think that it must be.
Okay. So one example of this would be, say it's the NBA Finals and you're at Game 7, and before the game, maybe the professional player is visualizing and vibrating winning the championship for the purpose of connecting to that parallel reality stream or being...
That's fine. That's fine. That's the visualization part. And it is important to stay in that vibration, but drop any insistence on what the outcome odds to be, because you don't actually know what the best outcome for you would be until it happens.
So could losing the championship be the best outcome? Oh, I suppose.
Yes, because then what that puts the person in touch with may be the most important thing they actually need to get in touch with. Because remember, it's not necessarily about winning the game. It might be more important for them to have a knowledge of the reaction they have to losing. Or maybe not winning the game will create a different scenario than otherwise would have happened that would actually put them where they need to be. That's actually more important to them than having won the game and winding up somewhere else. You have to allow yourself to know that what happens is what needs to happen. As long as you are in the state of being that is the best state of being, the state of being of allowing for the best possible outcome, but not insisting what best means, then you're in the proper state.
Okay. So you might become more focused. Your desire might be stronger. You might take different actions for the next year because of the outcome, etc.
Yes, and it might teach you something about yourself in a very different way and in things that have nothing to do with the game at all.
Okay. Wow. Okay. That makes a lot of sense.
Again, that's the importance of the fourth step of the formula. You remain in a positive state no matter what happens, because it's not about what happens. It's about what you do with what happens that matters. And if you remain in a positive state, no matter what happens, you will always get a benefit from it, even if it's not the one you thought you would get. But you won't get that, and you won't experience that if you don't remain in the same positive state in which you created the experience. This is the secret of visualization. By all means, you can imagine and visualize a particular, a specific outcome as the thing that gets you in that excited state. But as soon as you're in the excited state, you have to drop the picture because you don't really know for sure that that's really the best outcome. Let your higher mind bring you what you actually need at that moment that is truly going to serve you the best. And you have to know that that's what's going to happen. Even if what manifests is something that you objectively don't prefer, if it manifested, then you have to know it's there for a reason that can serve you. And by staying in a positive state, you will get the benefit of why that's there, instead of insisting that something has gone wrong and then suddenly you cannot get the benefit. You can only see the negative side of it.
Perfect. Would you say that having no insistence on the outcome also assists with being more process-oriented, more focused on what is needed out of you in order to even aim to do what you want to do?
It's not about what you want to do. It's about what you need to do. And what you need to do will be shown to you in the present moment.
Okay. How do plans fit into the formula?
Again, you can plan. You can plan if you want as part of the process, as long as you allow yourself to have a plan where the plan can change according to the flow of what happens.
Okay, perfect. So I kind of see there's almost a path of no resistance or a path of very little resistance, and there's a path of least resistance. Yes. And they're kind of different pacings in a sense. They have different...
Well, yes and no. When we use the term path of least resistance, that allows for there to be an experience of no resistance at all, because then that would be the least.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
We're not really talking about degrees in that sense. Just allow for the path of least resistance. That could mean no resistance at all.
Okay, that's all I needed to hear. That's great.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Good day.
You too.
Always.
Goodbye.
Well, again, as we have said, the idea is that when you have a fear-based belief, a negative belief in your consciousness, the physical body has to create a kind of representation of that belief in its chemical constituency, in its molecular structure. So when you finally are willing to let go of a fear-based belief, it's not uncommon that you have to wash that chemical version out of your body. It will more often than not come out through tears of release, tears of forgiveness, tears of release, of letting go. It can come out in other ways, such as the idea of perspiration. It can come out even in the idea of waste elimination. But more often than not, it will have the emotional component with it that allows you to feel the release emotionally, to let you know you are letting go of that particular fear-based belief. It's washing out of your system through your tears.
Hi, Bashar. I'm Lucia, and I'm from Oregon. My question is, do you control your emotions, or do your emotions control you? Thank you, Bashar. Avail.
Neither. We have them naturally as they occur. There is no control in either direction. The idea is that we feel what we feel when we feel it, but for us it's always positive, simply because that's our choice of a vibrational reality to be in. We have let go long ago of negative belief systems, and therefore we do not have what you would typically refer to as negative emotions. But we simply allow them to occur. There's no controlling of anything. We go with the flow because we trust that the flow knows exactly where we need to go, and what we feel and what we experience is exactly what we need to feel and experience at any given moment.
Hello, Bashar. My name is Lorena from Slovenia.
you're future self of Darryl. But in a conversation with people, a lot of times I heard you telling them when they would ask you or tell you that they feel alien, you would tell them that they are not aliens, they are human beings because they live on Earth, but probably they have soul extensions in another dimensions. Could you clarify that a little bit? Could you explain that a little bit further? Because throughout my whole life, I feel more like an alien than a human being. And I would like to know what that feeling of not belonging to Earth, of belonging to some other place, some other dimension, what does that feeling mean? Thank you. Goodbye.
That feeling is representative of the fact that you're changing your vibration to another version of Earth that right now feels alien to you. But you're experiencing the shift through various versions of alternate parallel reality Earths. One that is more and more and more and more similar to the connections that you feel from us, from other alien civilizations. So you're making an equivalency between that future Earth that you're shifting to and an alien planet just because they feel so similar.
Hey Bashar, and greetings from Tel Aviv. This is Michael, and I'm very, very happy to be asking you a question. The word mana in Hebrew means portion or ration of food, and I'm assuming it's derived from the word mana or mana from the Bible in the book of Exodus, chapter 16, where the Jews had food sent to them from the sky for their nourishment while they were in the desert leaving Egypt. My question is, from your perspective, what was the nutritional makeup of the manna actually? Was it like food such as rice and meat, or was it something else entirely? Thank you and much love.
There was no meat involved. It is certainly closer to the idea that you call rice, but it is more like a wafer type substance that is nutritionally balanced for human beings at that time and was given to them by the extraterrestrial race that was guiding them. You might reference it nowadays as something close to a superfood.
Hey Bashar, it's Teresa in Long Beach. Thank you so much for everything that you've done for me. I'd like to ask you a little bit about timeline number 3 from the parallel reality wheel, where the Indian Federation retains control of North America. Can you talk a little bit about that timeline? Does the African slave trade happen at all? Thank you so much, my Bashar.
Well, there are also variations of that timeline. So timeline number 3 that we mentioned can also have a number of variations within it. The one we were referring to simply is that the European explorers never completely gained a foothold in what you now know to be the Americas, and therefore it allowed the idea of various Indian tribes to expand and fully occupy the North, Central, and South American continents. Of course, it's not referred to as America. It is simply referred to in various tribal languages as the place of the people. In that one particular timeline we were referring to, there still was a European slave trade, but the idea is that it was maintained only within the idea of Europe and extended to some degree over into Asia. Of course, there are parallel versions of this that did not experience and do not experience the idea of the slave trade at all. So it just depends upon which version of the parallel realities you are dealing with, but just about anything you can imagine is one real reality or one real timeline.
Hi, Bashar. This is Tom from England. I was just wondering how the nature and the vegetation differs on your planet than it does on ours, such as the trees or the plants or even the rivers. If you could share anything about that, I would appreciate it. Ha'atu.
Well, again, it has a symbiotic component. There is no predation at all. In that sense, animals do not eat plants, but they may exchange energies in a variety of biological ways. And even plant to plant, there is no predation. Certain kinds of plants, like tall trees, may allow other kinds of plants, like what we have referred to as the prismatic flowers, to climb up on vine-like structures in order to reach more sunlight. But the idea is that they do not harm the trees that they are climbing up, as some vines on your planet may choke other forms of vegetation. So everything in our world is basically symbiotic and is developed to a point where there is always an exchange of energy that is never detrimental to each life form doing the exchange. Now, there are different varieties. As I've said, there are these prismatic flowers that kind of would look sort of like stained glass to you, large bilobed leaves that are like stained glass through which the sunlight passes, and also creates kind of rainbow effects on the forest floors. So there are those kinds of plants that exist on our planet, along with some that are similar to yours, but some that are very different. You can see an example of that in the documentary First Contact that was done. There is a depiction of those stained glass flowers in there.
Hello, Bashar. Greetings.
And to you, good day.
I am so honored and happy to have some time with you.
It is our passion and our pleasure to interact with you as well.
Thank you. So I have a few questions and one request. So I'll start with the first. I want to say a statement that when you gave the teachings of the eye of the storm, you know, everything was very clear and understood, but it wasn't so real. And I must state that this time, right now, it becomes so real with the awakening.
Yes. We told you that 2020 was going to be chaotic and nuts.
It's a wonderful nuts.
Well, it can be if used that way. Yes, that's the opportunity.
Yeah. I mean, I am proud. I have to say as a statement, I'm proud of every person who's in the street right now.
Yes.
Creating a voice for us. It's a voice.
Yes. So participate in your own way as best you can.
Yes, thank you. So take you to the permission slip of the passing through the eye of the needle.
Yes.
One of the items that you said to focus on was focusing on my future self. I think it's step 4 to...
Yes. To start being informed by your future self rather than your past self.
Yes. So I feel, you know, I understand the wording. I just don't, I feel like I'm there and available, but it's like the nothingness. It's...
All right. Well, I'll give you a little assistance with that. All right?
Okay.
So imagine a version of you in your mind's eye, in your imagination. See how a version of you in the future would be acting differently than you might be acting now in doing everything that you might do in your life. Watch the differences between how that version of you does things that are more in alignment with your passion, with who you truly prefer to be, rather than the way you might have done them in the past. Observe more carefully, no matter what it is that future version of you is doing, how that you is doing it differently than the way it might have been done in the past that's more representative of joy and alignment. And then start mirroring that behavior as closely as you can. You will then form a stronger bond, a resonance connection with the future self. And that means the future self can give you more information that can guide you forward rather than remembering the way things used to be done, which anchors you to the past self, which then gives you information about how things used to be done rather than the way things can be done. So that's a technique you can use in your imagination to see the future self living her life in the way that would be representative of her joy in everything that she may do, whether it's simple things during the day or bigger things, doesn't matter. But the more you mirror the way she does them, the more you will connect to the future self and receive information from the future self that will pull you forward to become that version of you. Does that help?
It's the beginning of help.
Oh, all right.
when you say that, the reason it's not the complete vision is it's not that I need to right there when I do the discipline or actually I'm what I'm referring to probably I think I'm start getting it. So I'm referring to at the time when I do the discipline. I love doing it every morning. It's give me a nice boost into the
That's up to you.
Yes. So in that place, so I'm visioning her, me, or him. It might be him. I don't know.
No. I'm talking about the future self in this life.
That's not understood by me here.
Well, it's understood by you now because I just told you. In other words, years from now, will you be living more in the way that you really prefer to as opposed to the way you're choosing to do things now?
Truthfully, I hope so, but I don't.
Well, all right, let's stop there.
Yes.
You can know so. You don't have to hope so. You can make the choice. But the point is whatever it is that version of you is doing years from now, you can start mimicking her now.
But is she or he? It's she.
Are you a she?
I got it. No, I am a she. Yeah, you're right. I corrected myself.
All right.
When I am the future me is going to deliver images to me.
Is going to deliver information to you and feelings to you and images and what have you to get you to start resonating more as the future you. To behave more as the future you. To give you the information that would be more representative of being the future self. So that you can more quickly become that version of you. But you can use your imagination to get yourself there faster by imagining the way she would be living her life that's different than what you're doing now, and then simply mimicking her in all the things that she's doing. That's the technique you can add to your meditation. Is that making any sense to you at all?
It does. It makes it
all right. So we're suggesting a way that you can accelerate the process.
Okay. I think I took it harder.
Yes, it's not that complicated. Don't overthink it.
Yeah. So with that, thank you. With that, I just like a footnote on the other spinning of the wheel exercise, the permissions you gave us. It's kind of the same feeling comes to me is when you give potential timelines. I focus on that. I pick up one and I focus on it, but it doesn't take me any further.
It's just a stretching exercise. It doesn't mean you have to find yourself fully in that reality. It's just a way of stretching your imagination to connect to other probabilities so that you can connect to the probabilities in your timeline that are relevant for you. It's just a stretching exercise. It doesn't mean you have to become a person in that reality.
Yeah, well, it's 15 minutes per scene. It's a long time when you
don't have to do them all on the same day.
No, not all. Even okay, I got you.
You can do them one a day. You don't have to. You can make up your own scenario of parallel reality too. Remember, we have always told all of you that when we give you a permission slip, you can allow your imagination to alter it in whatever way actually works better for you. You don't have to stick to exactly the way we have outlined it. We're just giving you a seed. You get to water it, and you get to allow it to grow in whatever way, shape, or form you desire.
Yeah, it's a process of freedom.
Yes, it is. And stretching your imagination to make sure that the way you're doing it is what works for you.
Yeah. I love this. Yeah.
All right. Anything else?
Yes, please. Yes. I'm going to read it. A few months ago, I had to put down my dog. She had difficulties with her body.
All right. But of course, her spirit is still with you.
So that's where I'm going. I felt a great agonizing loss with her leaving, and
I understand the grief that you're talking about, but nevertheless, you haven't lost anything.
So and probably we're talking to the body-mind consciousness here of me, that when I was, I created a garden, I buried her in her garden, and I feel her, I could feel her, I talk to her. Yes. Sometimes I open the door and I feel like she's standing there, wants to come in.
And she may be. But the idea is that, of course, you will meet her again in spirit, but the idea is that you haven't lost her. She's still with you. You just have to allow yourself to be able to perceive it a little bit more strongly. That's all.
How do I do that?
Well, you stop grieving like you've lost something, because when you imagine that something is lost, you break a connection in energy. If you understand that she's still with you, just in a different form, you'll start feeling her more strongly.
Uh-huh. And does she know? I mean...
Yes, of course. In a sense, she's waiting for you to recognize that she's still there by stop pretending that she's not.
I feel like I'm pretending that she is when I don't see her.
But you're actually pretending that she's not.
Right. Yeah, I got you. I understand that.
All right.
So is she not going to reincarnate into another?
Reincarnation is an idea and an experience you can create, but it doesn't actually exist in the way most people on your planet think it does. Everything exists at the same time. Everything. So how can one thing become another thing if both exist simultaneously?
Yeah,
you can have that experience. You can create the experience as if you have become something else, but that's not what actually happens mechanically. So yes, the oversoul of the animal may extend itself into other beings that would feel like a reincarnation. And in that sense, yes, there may be many counterparts of that particular animal that if you encountered them would feel like your dog reborn. But that's just because they exhibit a similar energy because they're part of the same oversoul. It's not that the dog actually became another dog.
Okay.
Because the dog will always, for you, also be in spirit. Now, you may encounter another counterpart that will feel like your dog has reincarnated. That can happen. And therefore, a connection can be made physically, too, in that way. But at the same time, that doesn't mean you necessarily lose the connection with the spirit version of your dog either, because that has always existed, too. So it's up to you as to what to focus on. The physical representation, the spirit representation, or both. You can do both.
Well, how would I mean, I understand, but I'll still ask it because that's how I feel it. How would I change myself not to be so physical? Like I want to hug her. I want to feel her. I mean, I feel her in my being, but when I don't feel
Because physical reality is a little denser than spirit, you may have to take a little bit more time to be able to relax in a meditative state, to really be able to feel the spirit dog, because it's a more refined version of energy. At the same time, like I said, sometimes in order for people to actually feel the physical sensation, you may attract another counterpart of the same oversoul that you can actually have a physical contact with. So again, you might do both.
I got you. I understand it.
Thank
you. Last thing.
Yes.
I just really asked for fatherly advice while entering an intense water fasting detox. Right now, I started it, and I feel the discomfort of pain of the body and high emotional roller coaster. There are times that the state that I'm in is so unbearable.
Well, if you're truly detoxing, it might simply be the reaction of your body to the fact that you're dumping a lot of toxins into your system all at once. You don't necessarily have to do it that strongly. You can, shall we say, pull back a little bit. You can do it a little bit more simply, a little bit more softly, a little bit more slowly. It's up to you. You don't have to make yourself uncomfortable, but sometimes detoxing will dump a lot of toxins into your system. They will pass. They will get out of your system eventually, but you can slow down a little bit if that's more comfortable for you. All right?
Yeah.
All right.
I thank you so much. I love you so much.
Our unconditional love to you as well. We thank you for the co-creation, and bid you good day.
Good day, Bashar.
Hello, Bashar. My name is Keito. I'm from Japan. I have a question. When I do yoga or meditation, I can feel fulfilled and be myself, but it is difficult for me to stay in that. Thank you very much. Bye.
Well, again, please follow the formula as precisely as you can. That will help. At the same time, don't have the insistence or the expectation that the feeling you have from doing the yoga has to be exactly felt the same way when you're doing other things. You may be, in a sense, cutting yourself off by thinking that it's supposed to feel identical when you do something different than what you did before. And that's not the case, because if you are doing something different, the feeling is going to be different. The energy is going to be different in terms of how you experience it. But that doesn't mean it's not at the level it needs to be for what you're doing. So don't make false equivalencies by saying, well, I feel fulfilled when I'm doing the yoga, and I'm supposed to feel exactly the same way when I'm doing something else. No, you need to feel slightly differently when you're doing something else, because there's an appropriate energy to everything you do. And therefore, get used to the idea that even though you may be operating on the perfect level you need to be operating on to do the other things, it's going to feel different. It's not going to feel like you're doing the yoga. The fulfillment will feel a little bit different for the thing you're doing.
Hi, Bashar. I love you. I have a silly common question. Let's say I have a job and I have a decent income, but there is this thing that is my passion, which I know if I follow it, that I will have less of an income. And I follow this passion, I will have much less income. And let's say my house goes on foreclosure and I'm responsible for my wife and children. And I tell them this is a blessing, foreclosure is good, we have to look at it positively. And then later we will be homeless and I will tell them, okay, this is positive, this is a good thing. But at what time do we start questioning?
This is a perfect example of an individual who knows just enough metaphysics to be dangerous to himself. You are starting from a false premise. And the false premise is the idea that you think you know that your income will lower if you are acting on your passion. The actual amount of financial abundance may fluctuate. But if you remember that there are many forms of abundance, such as trading for something, such as being given a gift, such as synchronicity, such as imagination, such as communication, all forms of exchange that can work together to allow you to continue to be able to act on your passion, which would by definition be inclusive of your family if they're part of your excitement, which I assume they are, and will take care of everything that needs to be taken care of that is relevant for you. So don't start from the false premise that your passion can't support you.
Hello, dear Bashar. This is Art from Car News, and my question is regarding timelines. The timeline that I am envisioning, that I'm truly invested in and putting my energy into, is one where all the civilizations come together here on Earth to function as one family under the stars, really, and where everybody is a little bit brought up to speed so that we also all function as telepaths, in the sense that we are accessing the Akashic records too, then having all the answers, as you say, at the right moment, in the right time, the right answers, the right information. So yes, what is the preferred SSINI timeline, the one that you're envisioning, that you most probably are putting your energy and time and effort into to realize with us here on Earth?
As we read the collective energy now, it's probably going to take you, for what you're describing, about 300 years of your time to start experiencing in the way that you've described it to some degree. However, different individuals may experience it sooner. Some may experience it later. We're only giving you an average overall bubble of the idea that you're describing as to the most likely, most probable time frame as we read the energy now that may allow such manifestations to be recognized more consciously on your planet as being normal or natural at that time for such things to start happening more frequently among more people. But it will build. There's a process. You'll experience many different levels of it before you get there.
Iliova, my name is Pat from New Jersey. I have a question for you, and it's regarding Shakana, the 3 days that you spent moving through the eye of the needle. What were the procedures? Thank you and have a wonderful day.
There were no procedures. We were in what you might relate to as a telepathic lockdown. We all just went into a meditative zone. Nobody moved. There was nobody doing anything other than tapping into the Shakana experience at that moment for those 3 days. We emerged as different people. At that time, there were about 250 million of us on the planet.
Hi Bashar, it's Gabriela from Canada. Can you comment on the belief that an individual is perfect whether they're in alignment or not? And what is your definition of perfection?
What we mean when we say that is simply you are a perfect version of whatever you are at any given moment. It's not that you will be more perfect as you change, you will simply be differently perfect. We use that phrase to indicate that you're not attempting to measure yourself against some unattainable ideal of perfection. You are exactly where you need to be, exactly when you need to be there, even if it's not what you really prefer. But even if it's not, you are still a perfect representation of someone who's experiencing something they don't prefer. So it's simply a way of validating every state of being, even the ones you don't prefer, which then paradoxically actually gives you the opportunity to change into different state of beings you might prefer, because by being perfect for whatever you are at any given moment, you're not invalidating yourself, which prevents you from moving forward and changing in the way you prefer. But that has nothing to do with the idea you humans call perfection. Because perfection, to many of you, means you never change again. But change is a constant. So you will always simply become differently perfect, because you're already perfect for whatever you are as the representation you are. It's a perfect representation of whatever you are. That doesn't mean you can't change and become more in alignment with what you prefer to be, but that's not the way most people on your planet think of when they think of perfection. Most people on your planet think of perfection as a static state. That will never happen. You are always going to be dynamically changing.
I have another question. So when we switch between parallel realities, we have a memory of the past. And is that memory of the past of the individual in each parallel reality, or there is a different past that the individual does not remember, or there's a fresh start and the past does not exist?
All of them. Remember, it's not this or that, it's this and that. Everything you've described happens simultaneously, and it just depends on which one you focus on that gives you the experience you're having.
I think defining past would be helpful, and for me, past seems to be more tangible as we have physical objects that are from the past, whereas the future seems like the idea of illusion because there is no tangible physical objects from the future.
First of all, you don't have physical objects from the past. You create them again in the present. Nothing comes from the past. You are creating a continuity illusion, creating an object in the present, and saying it comes from the past doesn't mean it actually does. That's just your way of expressing the idea of time and space. And in fact, you actually do have objects from the future. You're just not allowing them to be visible yet until you believe they need to be visible in the present. So an object you're considering to be from the past is also an object from the future if you're creating the continuity that the object is still there in the next moment. that object came from the future.
Hello, Bashar. This is Lorena from Slovenia. I experienced in my life a lot of synchronicity, and it's my favorite form of abundance. And related to that, I quite often get insight, a feeling, a vision, what an outcome of certain synchronicity is going to be. But what triggers me is this time space between my vision and the result of a certain synchronicity. So I would like to know, how can I overcome this most easily? Because otherwise I experience a lot of impatience. Thank you so much. Goodbye.
Again, remember, impatience comes from the belief that you need patience, and believing you need patience comes from the idea that you're supposed to be somewhere better than you are. Be in the moment. There is nothing more important than what's happening in the moment. Use it fully, and you won't need to be patient waiting for something else to happen. And if you're not waiting for something else to happen, then you won't be impatient. It's that simple. You're creating an insistence. You're creating an expectation that there's something more important you should be focused on other than what's happening in your life at any given moment. And there isn't anything more important than what's happening in the moment. When you know that, you won't need patience and you won't be impatient. You'll be fully living and fully experiencing and fully appreciating and fully using whatever's going on right here, right now. Nothing else will take precedence.
Hello, Tadeo.
Nania.
Hello, my dear friend.
And to you, good day.
Such a pleasure to be here with you and celebrate.
We thank you.
Yeah. So the last time we spoke in my timing, we talked about state of being.
Yes.
Is what pretty much is calling the shots.
Yes.
Circumstances do not matter, right?
Circumstances do not generate really the state of being. State of being generates circumstances,
right,
which can reflect the state of being, but state of being generates circumstances.
Right. So recently, I've been experiencing extremes. Like one day, I'll be in the most exalted state of bliss.
Yes.
And then the next day, extreme fear.
Oh, all right. How exciting that you are exploring polarity in that way.
Speak to me more about this, if you will.
Well, remember, as we have said, that when you expand your consciousness, you're going to run into more negative energy, not less, because you are becoming more aligned with all that is, which is all that is, including positive and negative. But just because you become more aware of it doesn't mean that in any way, shape, or form you have to be afraid that it will control you. It's simply allowing it to be equally valid to the positive so that you can then choose what you prefer. It's all about validation and allowance and equality and balance.
Right. And observing it from a positive state of being,
yes,
even though you
or
realize...
at the very least a neutral one, which is always slightly positive by definition.
Right, right. Because you had spoken to me about how your civilization can see the structure of how the universe works.
Yes.
I want to get to that place too.
Well, it's easy.
Tell me about it.
You just have to understand the nature of what we have described. You have to understand that everything is one. And when you understand that everything is one, and everything is here and now, and the all are the one, and the one is the all, and what you put out is what you get back, and everything changes except the first four laws, when you truly understand those simple premises, you will be able to see the structure of existence, and you'll be able to compare every situation, circumstance, and experience to that structure to see what is truly representative and what needs to fall away. Because as we have said, everything else is your definition. So when you compare your experience to the structure, the simple skeletal underlying structure of existence, you will understand where your definitions are in alignment with it and where your definitions are not. It's that simple. You just have to have a real understanding of what that structure is through the expression of the five laws. Mm-hmm. And all of the permutations of this. Now, we understand that sometimes it takes a little while for some of you to wrap your minds around some of this in terms of the great details the depth of understanding it. You may have what you call a cursory comprehension, but sometimes as you're expressing, a deeper understanding seems to be missing. And you want to be able to really clearly perceive that deeper understanding. To this end, we are guiding the channel to begin soon a new endeavor. The channel himself will teach a course in metaphysics to give many people a chance to really take each and every metaphysical principle that we have talked about and really dig into it, really explore every single view and perspective and idea and deep expression of each of these concepts. So the idea of investigating this more deeply will be coming up. It already exists, of course, in many different outlets as well, but we are guiding the channel to do this as well. And this will come up probably in what you call your upcoming orbit at some point.
That sounds wonderful.
And thus then you will have an opportunity to have deeper discussions of each and every principle and really allow yourself not to make it second nature, but first nature.
Right.
To really see things, to see the structure, to understand the patterns in the way that we naturally do. To really allow yourself to experience what we call the science of the obvious.
Right.
Yes.
Well, yeah, and this is a lot of the studying I've been doing. It's the observer effect, you know, and I can intellectualize it, but I don't live it 100% fully, and I want to.
All right.
Yeah.
And you can. And one of the ways in which you prevent yourself from living it fully is by having a definition that says you're intellectualizing it.
Mm.
Remember, what you know, you do.
Right.
Yes? So the idea is you actually do know it, you just don't quite believe that you know it yet.
Mm.
And that's the difference. You don't quite know you know it yet. And that's the difference. But you do know it. You all know it. You just don't know you know it yet.
Why is that?
Because you have forgotten what you know in order to have an experience of discovering. Because if you don't forget, you can't remember.
Right. And that's why we're here.
The experience, because that's a new experience. It's a new perspective. You are learning things you already know from a new perspective by forgetting that you knew it and discovering it from a new point of view.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you grow as a being. Remember, the structure never changes. Your experience of it does. And that's how creation expands. Not that the structure expands, that your experience of the structure expands.
Right.
Yes?
Yes.
Does this help you for now?
You help me so much, and I love you so much. Thank you for all these years.
We love you unconditionally as well, all of you, because whether you know it or not, you are helping us.
Yeah, well, thank you, and love to you.
You as well.
Bye-bye.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
That's very nice to hear it in person from you.
You as well.
So, I have a question.
Yes.
I'm still not very clear about the concept of karma.
Yes. In what sense?
I was growing up in a family where that concept was always presented as punishment for something I'd done.
Yes.
And therefore, it created fear in me
Yes.
that if I do something, I'm going to be punished many times more.
Yes.
It creates such a deep fear in me.
Yes. Because you're holding on to that definition as being real. But now you're saying that you know it's just a definition, so why are you still holding on to it?
That's my question. That's
Well,
what I want.
how is it serving you? Remember when we talked about motivation? The only reason you hold on to something is because you must have a definition that says it's serving you better than the alternative.
That's true.
So what are you afraid of if you let it go? What are you afraid will happen? You see, many of you say you can't figure out what that fearful definition is, but really you can. It's actually very simple. All you actually have to do is magnify it in order to get a good look at it. And an easy way to magnify the fear is by using your imagination to take it to the extreme levels of terror. What's the worst possible thing I can imagine would happen if I actually let go of that belief? And if you're willing to hear the answer, you'll hear it. You'll receive it. You'll find out what it is. So what are you so afraid will happen if you stop believing that karma is punishment? Are you afraid you'll go wild, out of control? That you will do heinous things? Are you afraid that you're that kind of a person if you don't have that kind of a straitjacket governor on your behavior? Because you don't trust who you are deep down, really, as a person. And so you need that strong iron fist to keep you in line. Are you afraid of who you really are? Are you afraid of your power? Do you have a definition also that your pure power will somehow make you go astray? What do you fear?
I have a belief that if I'm in a certain situation,
yes,
and I feel I want to change it,
well, you want to change yourself. Why would you want to
put
change?
myself into a different situation?
Well, all right, but you want to change yourself. When you change yourself, it doesn't matter if the situation changes, you'll respond to it differently, and that's the proof of change. Not that the situation out there has changed. Proof of change is that you respond differently even if the situation still looks the same.
That's right.
I know. That's why I said it.
And
yes.
You asked me what I fear.
Yes.
So my fear is that if I'm in such a situation and I'm going to put myself into a different situation or choose to experience a different reality, then I feel like it's going to change in the matter, it's going to be bad, it's going to be more
Well, what
more
kind of a definition do you have of the new reality? Obviously, you have a negative one. Why do you have a negative definition of the reality you're shifting to? Why would you assume that it's going to be negative?
Because I left something what was really good for something what I believe it's going to be better.
And so, then why wouldn't it be better?
And I'm afraid that it's going to be worse.
But why do you have a definition that something better is going to be worse? Don't you hear the contradiction in your definition? You're saying you're expanding to something you believe is better, but you have a definition that that's going to be worse. Why do you have the contradictory definition that something better is going to be worse?
That's a good question.
Thank you. Do you have a good answer? Why do you have a contrary definition of the idea of better being worse? Why are you equating better as worse? Come on.
That's what I cannot figure out.
No, come. I already told it to you. Really, in different words. Plainly speaking, you don't trust yourself. You don't trust your life.
Yeah.
To be more precise, you trust in the negative more than you trust in the positive. It's that simple, and that's okay. Say it. Say it with me. I trust in the negative more than I trust the positive. Go on. Come on, out loud. I trust the negative more than I trust the positive.
I trust negative more than the positive.
Say it again. Really mean it. Come on. I trust in the negative more than I trust in the positive.
I trust in negative more than I trust in positive.
Say it again. Come on. Put some force behind. I trust in the negative more than I trust in the positive. Come on.
I trust in negative more than I trust in positive.
Now, do you recognize that while you were saying that, you were laughing?
Yes.
You know why you were laughing?
Because it's bullshit.
Thank you. Because you know it doesn't ring true. And yet, you've just never admitted it because you're afraid to admit it because you think there is a karmic consequence to even admitting that you believe that you trust the negative more than the positive. But so what? So what if you did? Once you admit it, now you can change it because you've allowed it to be okay to have done it that way. All right, I trusted in the negative instead of the positive. Who cares? So what? Big deal. Now that I have admitted I did it that way, now I recognize I don't prefer it, so I realize I have the ability to trust in the positive if I so desire. And if I should at any time also change my mind and start choosing to trust in the negative, well, again, so what? I must have had a good reason for doing so. Maybe by trusting in the negative, it gave me an opportunity, again, as we said before, karmically, to understand more clearly who I am not, so that I can understand more clearly who I actually am. Because many of you do it that way on your planet. You create circumstances and situations that are very strongly representative of what you don't prefer so that you can highlight more clearly what you do prefer. It's easier to see a single little match if you surround the match with the vacuum and darkness of all of space. So even if you're surrounded by negativity, all that darkness makes it easier to find the light. You understand?
That's right. I do.
Is this helping?
Very much so.
Why, thank you for being willing to trust in the positive now, in this moment.
I have one more question.
Yes.
So I'm in a situation in my life where...
Is this going to be exciting?
Very exciting.
Oh, all right.
Get ready.
Oh, all right, I'm ready. Lay it on us. Give us your best shot.
All right, so...
Yes.
I'm in a situation where I am here in the United States, coming from Europe on visitor visa.
Yes.
And I'm here with my lover.
Yes.
In a beautiful relationship.
Yes.
And I cannot be here illegally, so...
All right, and so now what?
So now what? I have two choices.
Yes, what are your choices?
My choices are to either go to school
Yes.
or to get married.
Yes.
I crossed the one to go to school because I have different plans in my life. And in front of me is a choice to get married.
Yes.
But I'm not excited about it.
All right.
And I'm wondering...
Do you have a third choice?
Go back to Europe?
Well, all right. Do you have a fourth choice?
Get excited about it.
About what?
About the marriage.
Well, all right. You could do that. Maybe, if that's truly exciting for you. You don't know yet. You can examine that. You can explore it and find out if it really isn't your excitement right now or if you're just making it look like it's not your excitement right now. But when you decide one way or the other, then that choice will be clear as to how to act. But do you have other choices?
I don't know about them yet. I didn't examine it.
All right. Well, what does the school entail? Why is that not exciting for you?
Because I'm creating my business right now and I'm working on it. And
you're saying you cannot create your business and go to school?
That's right.
That's right, you can't?
Yeah, I choose not to.
No. That's not what I asked you.
Okay.
Is it impossible for you to do both? Can you go to school and create your business? Is it physically possible for you to do both?
Is it? But I am not choosing to.
I heard you the first time, but that's not the question I'm asking you yet.
All right.
I'm only attempting to establish if it is actually something that can be physically accomplished. Yes or no?
Yes.
Thank you. I have a feeling you're not going to have many teeth left after this conversation because I have to pull them all to get at the answers with you. Now then, I understand that it's not your choice, but now that's the next question. Why is it not your choice? If you are able to do your business, which you say excites you, and going to school would be the way to allow you to remain in the country and do your business, why is that not an exciting option for you?
Because I want to fully focus on my business.
What does that mean?
That means that I want to give it full energy and I don't want to go to school 5 days a week. I don't want to feel exhausted trying to build
So you're
my business.
assuming that you will feel these negative things by going to school. You are assuming that you will not have the energy for your business. Why are you making these assumptions? Instead of understanding that it's possible, not saying you have to choose it, but that it might be possible, and you're not even willing to look at it yet, that both of these things might be one thing instead of separating them out. Why is not going to school and doing your business one exciting thing that will work in harmony, in synergy, in synchronicity with each other so that you will be alive and alert and excited and fresh while doing them both? Why do you assume that it will exhaust you or not give you time to do what you need to do? Why are you imposing these limitations on your belief?
Well, I'm not now.
All right. So are you at least willing to allow for the possibility that you could do both?
So what about the Hawaii thing? Do you think I should stay here?
What about a Hawaii thing?
Well, the thing you were talking before, you know, like the tsunami and stuff. Maybe I should move back to Europe.
So you chose to take that with a drop of fear too, yes?
Okay, yeah.
Well, why?
Oh.
Do you not
Because
trust
I
that
feel
you will be where you need to be, when you need to be there? Because the synchronicity in your life will bring about circumstances that will lead you to where you need to go. Do you not trust your life to unfold in the way that serves you best?
I do, but before I came here, I
Yes.
really felt that I should move to France, and I didn't listen to that.
Why not?
Why not?
Yeah, why didn't you listen to that?
Because I was afraid.
Of what? The French?
No, no.
Are you afraid of baguettes? What are you afraid of in France?
I was in a relationship with my lover, and I was
Yes.
afraid.
Is this another person?
No, this is the same lover I'm talking about. I want to get married with.
Oh, I thought you said you weren't ready for marriage. Now suddenly you want to get married.
No.
I'm playing with you. What is it about France that was so fear-inducing?
It was nothing about friends. I was totally excited, and I think.
But why didn't you go?
Because
What were you afraid of?
Because I promised my lover
Yes.
that I'm gonna come back, and I didn't want to, and I did anyway.
Well, why didn't you want to?
I don't know. I didn't feel excited about it. I felt excited about friends. That's why I wanted to do that.
Do you not understand that by acting on your excitement, if your lover had also been part of that, then things would have worked out in a way to include them both, which is what we are attempting to tell you about the idea of business in school? You keep separating things out. This or that, this or that, this or that, instead of this and that, this and that, this and that. Your definitions need to be bigger and not cut into pieces that are then apparently mutually exclusive and conflictive. Look at things holistically. If you act on your highest excitement, excitement is the not only driving engine of your life, it's the organizing principle. And therefore, if France and your lover and business and school are all actually a part of your excitement, they will find a way to synchronistically all work together harmoniously. You need to trust your excitement definition. You need to have a bigger definition of excitement, a more positive definition of excitement, instead of creating contrary definitions and pitting them against each other. That only creates conflict within yourself, and no wonder you're confused. And no wonder you're afraid, because your definitions are too small. Make them bigger. Inclusive. Because if something is truly your excitement, it will include, by definition, anything else that is actually representative of your excitement. And if that thing is not included, it wasn't representative of your excitement. And your excitement will have shown you what belongs and doesn't belong in your definition of excitement. Yes? But all you have to do is act on the thing that excites you the most first, that you're capable of acting on, with no assumption of the outcome. And then let it show you what the outcome actually can be, instead of assuming you have all the answers in your physical mind and you know exactly how this is all going to turn out because everyone says it works this way when I do it this way. Let your higher mind show you what the outcome could be with its broader imagination, instead of limiting your higher mind with the physical mind's limited imagination of what the outcome should be. All right?
All right.
Is this helping you?
Very much so.
Then I will say bon voyage.
Thank
A
you
bientôt.
so much.
Plus tard. Au revoir.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. You're my genius.
Je t'aime.
Hello.
And you, good day.
Good day. I feel like all my questions have been answered.
How
as I sat-
synchronous of you.
Yes, how fabulous. It'll be easy for you. So
It's always easy for me.
That's true. That's true.
I know, that's why I said it.
I believe you. So I have created an incredible, interesting journey that I'm on. Where I'm having lots
How
of
fascinating.
Yes, it's fascinating. Where I'm having lots of synchronicitous opportunities and meeting incredible people, and a lot of things are coming into my orbit.
Oh, all right.
So what I'm trying to figure out is
What you are in the process of figuring out.
exactly how do you stay in sync with the core? Because there's all these things coming at me.
Yes.
I'm working an intense job, but all these other things are happening around that I want to focus on. So how do you
Give yourself time to be able to choose what you prefer.
And how do you do that?
How do you give yourself time?
How do you give yourself time?
Really?
Really?
Did you have time to come here tonight?
Barely.
How'd you do that?
No, it was magic.
Yes, well, that's how.
Magic, all right.
That's how.
Okay.
You are the creator of time. Make more of it if you need it. And the paradox is, actually, you don't need as much as you think. I think it might be the idea that you're overwhelming yourself with details that thus then take a lot of time, when in fact, if you simply operated more in the present, your life would take on a holistic nature that would actually require less time, and you would actually wind up doing more.
You think?
I know so. Because that's how we operate.
And how do you know when you are actually following when you're saying true to yourself or true to the path that you should be on?
Are you telling me you can't tell the difference between when you're excited and when you're anxious?
Yes, but
Well,
mostly it's
then,
anxious.
Anxious is the product of fear. Therefore, it's out of alignment with your true self. Excitement is the product of your alignment with positive belief systems that are in alignment with your true self.
So if you're not in excitement, you're not in alignment.
If you're not in excitement, you're not in alignment, but you always must take the time to make sure that you're not just dampening what excitement could be there with negative definitions.
Copy.
Once you have thus then determined that the thing really is or really isn't representative of your excitement, then you will know what to choose. It's that simple. There's no need to overcomplicate it or overthink it or put more details into it than need to be there. Do you operate a motor vehicle?
Yes.
Do you know how everything in it works?
No.
But you drive it just the same, don't you?
Yes.
If you sat in your car and say, now let me see. Well, I know that these things called pistons, and I know that these things called brakes, and I know that there are brake shoes, and I know there are nuts and bolts that hold them to the disc rotor, and there are some springs involved, and well, I know that there are also some lines that have brake fluid, which means the lines must go to this reservoir, and when are you going to have time to drive the car if all of that is on your mind? Of course you won't have time, because you're paying too much attention to the details you don't need to pay attention to. Just drive the car.
But what if your job is to pay attention to the details?
Then pay attention to them in the most exciting way you can, and you will expand your ability to sense what you need to know when you need to know it, without necessarily having to look at every little minutia that passes under your nose. It's all well and good to be detail-oriented in an organizational sense if that is your job. Of course, the question is, are you excited about that?
Not particularly.
Well, then there you go. So if you allow yourself to start acting on the things that actually are more representative of your excitement, you will most likely find out that they are a little bit more holistically structured.
Right.
Than what you have been forcing yourself to do, even though your job is detail-oriented. Your first job is to actually act on what excites you the most. And let that show you that it will support you if you're willing to know that it can. And bit by bit, at whatever pace you're comfortable with, the excitement will show you can be supported, and then you can let go of the thing that really doesn't excite you. And you'll find out that you have a lot of time on your hands to do things that you really enjoy.
Excellent.
Does that help you?
It sure does.
Why, thank you.
Well, thank you.
Speaking of time, where are we, Nania?
We are at the very end of the evening.
Yes, we are. In perfect timing. We will once again thank each and every one of you for the co-creation of this beautiful karmic exchange. I remind you, we deserve each other. Our unconditional love to you all. We bid you an exciting and karmically balanced good day. How'd it go? Good? You have a good time? Thank you all very, very much for being here tonight. We really appreciate it. And I'll see you again. Have a wonderful evening. At this time, we would like you all, if you are willing, to relax, to breathe, and to reflect on the idea of what we have spoken of as the Interstellar Alliance Social Experiment, Step 6, Gatherings. We will talk more about the idea of these gatherings as part of Open Contact in the Sedona transmission upcoming. But the idea for now is to use your inspiration and imagination and creativity to visualize the idea of you creating or joining gatherings at different places on your planet and having fun and experiencing love and joy in forming forms of communication, creating different forms of communication using light, using sound, using energy, using love, using telepathic projection, to invite ETs, spaceships, UFOs, UAPs, whatever you wish to call them and refer to us as, doesn't matter to us, but to invite us to connect, to form community, to receive and be open to your galactic family, to breathe it in and allow it to be real, for it is closer than you think. It is just around the corner. It is imminent. It is separated by the barest difference in frequency from where you are right now, and it is approaching. It is approaching. It is approaching. Be not afraid. You are simply seeing the reflection of your true selves in us. You are simply seeing the reflection of your true selves in us. We are a mirror for your soul to know yourself more fully, more completely, more transparently. To know yourself, to be yourself, to gather with like minds that are all connected as a greater aspect of all that is, not taking away from your individuality, but gathering together and being an expression of a greater part of the whole. So the whole can support you in its unconditional love, in the frequency of existence, and the frequency of eternity, in the frequency of infinity and limitlessness that is available to you as a spirit, as a soul, as a being, as an aspect and a reflection of all that is. Join us in this step 6 of the Interstellar Alliance social experiment. Allow it to become more real. Allow it to be within you as a part of you, as your reality. Receive and give and be of service for those who wish it. It is your choice, as always. Our unconditional love to you all. We welcome you home to your spiritual selves. Continue to breathe every day, gently and easily, and breathe the dream into existence. Breathe the reality of contact into existence. Shift yourself through the billions of parallel versions of Earth toward and in the direction of those already experiencing contact. We will describe some specific scenarios that may be available to you to experience when contact begins in our upcoming Sedona transmission. So if you are willing, join us and participate. For the Sedona transmission and the description of the various scenarios of open contact will be the 7th step of the Interstellar Alliance social experiment. We thank you for your participation and your service. Aveo, our unconditional love to you all. Keep breathing, keep dreaming, keep being your true selves. Good day, and good night, and sweet dreams to you all. All right, I'll say good day to you this day of your time, and welcome once again to the transmission of the Interstellar Alliance social experiment, Step 6, which is titled Gatherings. The idea now in Step 6 is connected to what you have already called CE5s, Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, where you gather together with other like-minded individuals to create communication, connection, and contact from humans up to ETs to do several things that can grab, as you say, the attention of UFOs passing by, to ask them to stop or to show themselves or to demonstrate that they are something different than your airplanes, than your satellites. By maneuvering in certain ways, you know that you do not generally have the technology to exhibit. So these gatherings can be either that you find individuals and groups that are already doing this in certain areas on your planet and you can join them, or using your own creative imagination to create such a gathering, to pull together people, initiating a gathering of your own and demonstrating through the flashing of lights. Do not use lasers. The flashing of regular lights in patterns, the idea of meditations, reaching out telepathically to ships passing by, to ask them with respect to stop, to show themselves to you, to demonstrate unusual maneuvers, to begin the contact process from your side as well as from our side, to start learning how to initiate the idea of the invitation to create communion, connection, contact, community between humans on Earth and your galactic family. So gatherings are important. Find a place. Generally speaking, it is best if it is somewhat remote. We have before talked about certain areas on your planet, such as Joshua Tree, as being more conducive to receiving interaction from UFOs, UAPs, from our ships, whatever you wish to call them, doesn't matter to us. But putting these gatherings together not only builds connection between humans on Earth and ETs, but also connections between the humans themselves with each other to create communities of similar vibration, to get you all into a similar frequency, to be willing to be open to contact, which is not so very far away. So this is an acceleration, an opportunity with the changing frequencies that now exist on your planet to choose to navigate in the direction of the versions of the parallel reality Earths that will experience contact in the not so distant future. In just a few years, it will begin. But this will help accelerate, unify, bond within a similar frequency many humans on your planet, if you will be willing to undertake the joining of groups that are doing this or creating your own groups. This will accelerate that bonding experience. This will create a broader frequency around the planet, depending upon how many of you are willing to do this, that can establish the correct frequency to navigate to the versions of Earth that will experience open contact. Allow yourself to be creative. Allow yourself to be imaginative. Allow yourself to be bold and go forth. Allow yourself to be connected, to be open, to be willing, to receive, to give, to form the link, to form the bridge between your world and our worlds, between your world and the stars, between your soul and our souls, between your spirits and our spirits, between your minds and our minds. Do these gatherings, if you wish, as step 6 of the Interstellar Alliance social experiment, because it involves activity, action, doing. It involves the commitment to the idea of being willing to participate in open contact, in the Interstellar Alliance social experiment being given to Earth, to you, as a gift to allow you to experience more of yourselves as you experience more of the cosmos, more of the family that awaits you out here, and that can eventually come to Earth, so that you understand that Earth is your home. Not just the idea of any specific city, not just the idea of any specific country, but that you begin energetically to dissolve the borders and understand that Earth is your home, that you start identifying the entire planet as your home, that you reach out as the entire planet from your home to our homes among the stars. So gather, enjoy, reach out, feel unconditional love, both in giving and receiving, and invite us to interact with you. There will be more and more each time you do this, a buildup of the frequency and more responses until such time as you will know beyond a shadow of a doubt that we are here around your world, interacting with you, sending you love, sending you joy, and that it is our passion and our pleasure to be welcome into your home as we welcome you into ours. So gather, gather, and gather together. We thank you for allowing us to share Step 6 of the Interstellar Alliance social experiment, and we thank you for your willingness to be of service to humanity and to the cosmos in this way, by your participation. In return for the gift you have given us in allowing us to experience all of you, I ask, as usual, now, in what way may we continue to be of service to you? Please begin with your dialogues and your questions, if you wish. And to you, good day.
Hi, Bashar. How are you doing?
Perfect, and you?
I'm perfect as well now.
Oh, all right.
Great. Okay, so let's crack on. So, synchronicity.
Yes.
I wanted to ask you about, firstly, you've spoken about your civilization and how you're moving from fourth to fifth as we synchronistically move from third to fourth.
Yes.
And you said that it was a different octave of consciousness altogether. So I'm interested to know more about that, if you can explain more about that and what methods you're using to navigate through that.
Well, again, the idea of moving into fifth density, which is also the same thing as fifth dimension, means you're going from physicality to non-physicality entirely. That's what we mean by a different octave. That's a euphemism to simply underscore the idea that you're going from a state of being that has some degree of physicality to it to a state of being that does not have physicality in the way that you're used to experiencing it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And does it feel like different from when you shifted from the previous density? Does it feel more intense or?
Well, it is more expansive. In other words, your senses are expanding and capable of perceiving multiple dimensional things simultaneously. So it's like you're kind of walking through a dreamscape constantly, being aware of a much larger span of things that have to do with parallel realities and opportunities, different dimensions. These things become the normal way that you perceive reality, overlapping with multiple realities, multiple opportunities and options, multiple pathways simultaneously, rather than the idea of a singular path that illuminates only what is germane for your physical personality. So in the non-physical realm, you begin to also combine with the idea of your identity other aspects of yourself on a greater level and tap into multiple parallel opportunities and choices and synchronicities that are representative of your greater being, your more expanded consciousness.
You mean like the oversoul?
Well, you don't necessarily have to go that far right away, but similar to that idea on a lower level.
Okay, but we're only, in terms of parallel realities, we're only ever ourselves, and we're just always making connections. Is that right? We're only sort of one soul.
Yes, you as a physical persona have a singular soul.
So I can never be any of these other parallel versions.
You aren't. They are themselves. You can only, in a sense, be them if when you say you or me, you are talking about the oversoul level.
Yes.
So if you're saying I, as the oversoul, am all of these different entities and individuals, then yes, that's more precise. But you as a single individual personality, no, that's an extension of an oversoul, and therefore it is a singular expression.
From the soul perspective, I've got one soul, and all those parallel versions have their own soul.
Correct.
Right. Okay, thank you for that. Right, I've got a question for you here. So I want you to imagine now that you're human and you're on Earth now.
I don't have to imagine it. Remember that in the classical way of looking at things, the channel is one of what you call my past selves.
That's true. I just mean kind of from where you are right now, as you as an individual. So if you were speaking to an extraterrestrial now, the way we are to you,
yes,
from Earth, what question would you ask if you only had one question that you could ask?
How can I be more myself? That's why we've been delivering information to that end to all of you, how you can be more yourself. Because when you are your true self, everything else takes care of itself automatically. Everything falls into place automatically. So I would ask the one thing, as we're sharing with you in terms of answers, the thing that would allow all things to function more automatically and fall into place more easily, to be yourself and allow for unity and harmony to exist on the planet.
And that's following the formula again then?
Yes, it is. That's why we've boiled it all down to that for you, so that it's simple and you don't have to overcomplicate it or overthink it. Just follow the instruction manual. The way we have distilled it down is designed to exactly accomplish the answer to that particular question.
Okay.
Who am I?
Exactly. Who am I? I'm asking that every day to myself.
But all you have to do is follow the formula to figure that out. Remember, the formula doesn't leave anything relevant out. It contains everything and the answer to every question that's relevant and important for you that you might ask in your life.
But if everything changes except the laws, then the formula never changes, does it?
No, because that is a description of the structure of existence that doesn't change. It's how you use it that changes. It's your relationship to it that changes. It's your experience of it that changes. Your perspective of it that changes. But the thing itself, the structure itself, is the structure of existence, and that doesn't change.
Okay. You mentioned that...
It doesn't change. Perhaps this will clarify it for you. It doesn't change because in and of itself, it's timeless. It just is in the now, completely and utterly. It doesn't experience the idea of time. Time is within it. It's not subject to time. Time is subject to it. That's why it is what it is and never changes, because you need the experience of time in order to have the experience of change. And it's beyond time.
Logical.
Yes.
So, you mentioned the Uber civilization around Bernard's star, that we would one day become first contactees for them. I just wonder what challenges and innovations they're going through right now, from where they are, from your perspective, that you can see.
Well, there are many different things going on in their civilization. One moment. Of course, one of the things that's most relevant is they are having discussions in many different circles about the possibility of life among the stars. It is something that many of them have been considering for a little while, and they have been using whatever simple technology they have to speculate, similarly to what Earth has been going through, as to whether or not there is life among the stars. So it's one of the things they are discussing.
Okay. And do they feel that it's possible? Do they feel that they're going to get there? Or do they have doubts the way we do?
Some of them have doubts about it, yes.
And they're not human, I take it?
They're humanoid, but they're not human.
Okay, so they've got some of our genetics?
Yes.
Okay. And what other genetics are they made of? Do they have?
There is no reference point I can give you for that exactly, other than the fact that they're not too dissimilar from you, and therefore they obviously share some genetics with you, but some of the other things that are combined in that are not exactly the same and are not familiar to you in any way I can describe.
And, in terms of synchronicity, the number 55 has followed me around since I was
all right.
50, every 7-8 times a day.
Yes.
And I used to think it was a bad thing, and then I realized it was actually guiding me in a good thing.
Well, that's the use of synchronistic numbers. Sometimes they'll act as road markers to let you know that at that moment you're in the proper state to be yourself and act from that state. It's like saying I'm seeing a road sign that tells me I'm on the right path and I'm in the correct vibration for myself at this particular moment. For you, the idea of 55 is like the number of double humanity.
Right. Okay. That makes sense. Great. Well, thank you, Bashar. It's been a pleasure, as always, and have a good day.
And you as well. It is our passion and our pleasure to interact with you. Good day.
Shiva.
Aveo.
Hello, Bashar. What is the spiritual purpose of physical beauty? By physical beauty, meaning not only the looks, but also the scent, the voice, the charm, the intelligence, the inner world. What do we gain, spiritually speaking, from being drawn to beauty the way a lot of us are?
Well, you are being drawn to the concept of balance. Some people will reflect it in certain ways, and they don't necessarily have to be physiologically beautiful to express the idea of some form of beauty. But the idea is that you're being drawn to the balance between the polarities. You're being drawn to the third point, the Trinity point, that allows you to experience within yourself the potential of the balance that you contain. Good day. Good day.
Good day, Bashar. It's so exciting to be here with you today.
As it is for us as well to be with you.
Thank you. There are a couple areas I'd like to explore with you. The first is the topic of the information you shared with us. I've been enjoying the information you've been sharing for a while. It's so clear and creative and
all right,
experiential. And I'm just curious how these materials are developed and what are the theories behind the event structure and the way information is shared with us.
Well, again, the idea is that these are not theories for us. These are simple observations of the nature and structure of existence, and we're simply passing them along to you in whatever form the translation needs to occur to make sense in your language and in your consciousness. So we're simply sharing what we observe in terms of how existence functions, how it works. That's why we're able to distill it down into the idea of the formula, following your passion to the best you can, no insistence or assumption on the outcome, staying in a positive state no matter what happens so you can derive the benefit from it. These are the ways these concepts translate in your language, in your reality, to take advantage of the nature and structure of existence that we're describing to you. Does this make sense?
It does. So basically, if a human wanted to do as an effective a job as you do with others, we would just try and tap into those understandings ourselves when sharing information with others.
Yes, and that's why we give you the formula, because it allows you to do that. Because in other words, as you act on your passion, what happens? You raise your vibration. As you raise your vibrational frequency of energy and expand your consciousness, what happens? You tap into higher frequency realms of information and inspiration and access the same kind of information. So that's also included in the structure. It's self-guiding, it's self-expanding. Just by doing it, just by following the instruction manual and following the formula, it not only allows you to experience your own personal life in a more accelerated and streamlined way, it actually gives you more ability to tap into other levels of information, knowledge, energy, so on and so forth, to be able to also then share similar perspectives with other people as well, because it makes you a more receptive antenna for those higher frequency bits of information in the same way that we tap into it.
Amazing.
Remember, you can't experience what you're not the vibration of first. This is just physics. What you put out is what you get back. So by following the formula, it raises your frequency and allows you to access more information on a broader spectrum.
Okay. And so, you know, it's the other topic I wanted to explore with you, I wanted some guidance on. You know, I've noticed a lot of changes in the world, like a lot of construction, a lot of things shifting.
Yes.
I've been a part of an institution for a long time that there's been a lot of friction there that I've experienced, but I also see an opportunity for helping to shift that structure from within. But the thing that I'm trying to understand and wrap my head around is like, when is it important to stand our ground? When is it important to resist? Is that ever necessary? When is it important to expose certain structures? Like right now, it seems like exposing certain things might be beneficial. But
it depends on what it is and how you go about it. If you think it's necessary and truly important, it's truly in alignment with your true self, your real self, that certain information be revealed in certain ways that you believe would be to everyone's benefit, that's fine. But you have to have a really strong sense of discernment to know whether that's really necessary or whether you simply need to not resist, but move on to something else that is more representative, or even create something else yourself that's more representative of the kind of environment that you prefer.
That's how would you suggest that someone develop discernment around that? Like, what are some good ways to really tap into that?
All right. Well, again, this requires a great degree of self-awareness and honesty within your own investigation of the reasons, your motivations for why you choose to behave or do what it is you choose to behave or do. So you have to really dig down deep and ask yourself at any moment when you think that some particular action might be required, why do I think that? Why do I feel that? What is my motivation for thinking I have to do it this way as opposed to another way? Am I truly in alignment with harmony in doing it the way I thought I needed to do it? Or am I simply allowing myself to believe that I have to control the situation? Is this coming from a fear-based belief? Is this coming from a love-based belief? What am I actually doing, and why am I choosing to do it this way or even considering doing it this way? Is this the best way? Is this the path of least resistance? Is this truly me? Or is there something else I would rather be doing in a different way? That's why we say it's so important to just stay in the moment when these things come up, when these questions arise. Just stay in the moment and take the time to examine yourself with great honesty and great transparency about your motivations for why you think you need to do something in the way you think you need to do it, because sometimes it will reveal to you that there might be another way that is truly more you, and that the way you've been thinking of doing it is really just another expression of a fear-based belief because you think that something will go wrong if you don't do it this way or what have you. So it takes great honesty in your self-evaluation to know the difference in your discernment.
Okay, thank you, Bashar. That's very helpful.
All right.
Yeah, and a great gratitude to you and everyone that's a part of this transmission today and everyone who isn't. So blessings, and I thank you.
We thank you as well. Good day.
Good day, Bashar. It's been a pleasure knowing you. I'm Ryohei from Osaka, Japan. So, 2 months ago, I had a lucid dream about 2 UFOs, glowing purple light, hovering about 200 feet right above me, lying on my bed. My body was floating in midair, as if I was getting sucked into one of them while having a sleep paralysis. Recently, I haven't had any dreams about UFOs. So my question is, how can I utilize my Esasani contact crystal to increase the probability of dreaming about UFOs? Love you, Bashar. Sayonara.
When you go to sleep, as you're falling off to sleep, ask for more conscious, lucid awareness of your interactions with other beings. It will eventually be given to you. You will eventually take it. The idea is to not be afraid to have that awareness, not be afraid to have those experiences, and ask for those experiences on your own terms in ways that will work for you. You are entitled to do this. You're entitled to be an equal participant consciously in any interactions with extraterrestrial beings, no matter what their particular take may be. So the more you ask for awareness and the less you are afraid of having that awareness of what's going on those other levels, the more you will have conscious participation in what's happening.
Hi, Bashar.
Anna, you good day.
Good day. I have a question on our consensus agreements here in this reality. And as we evolve as a species, individually and collectively, and we invite our future selves in to come in to integrate within this original consensus agreement, does that change or expand our agreements collectively and individually? And if so, how does that work? And
all right,
as far as our next step.
All right, well, the short answer is yes. But the idea is to remember that you're creating yourself to shift to different realities, and different realities, different parallel versions of Earth that you're shifting through have their own completely different consensus. So you're not changing the consensus of one world. You're simply shifting to another world that has a completely different collective consensus.
So once, as this evolution continues with us, how do you incorporate that in your thinking model? And, like what's really the highest?
How it's incorporated is by the synchronicity that shows you now what is more and more possible for you in that new reality that has a different consensus. In other words, it will become more apparent and more obvious through synchronicity that different things are now available to you than used to be available to you to act on, that is more in alignment with who you are.
Yes, I've experienced that. So I was just wondering how that just continues to evolve us. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes. As you shift and go through different versions of Earth with different consensus realities, it becomes more and more apparent what it is that aligns with you as an individual and gives you more opportunities to express your individuality within the context of the new consensus.
So that's already open to and available to us. It's just a matter of our acting on our excitement and moving forward in that direction.
Just a matter of following the formula. As we constantly are reminding all of you, the formula is designed to let you know that nothing is left out that's relevant for you to experience in your path in life. So yes, of course it's available to you, because why would that ability be left out of the formula?
Clarification is very important for me. Thank you so much on that. I really appreciate that clarification.
It is our passion and our pleasure.
Yesterday, there was an agreement that came in from the Eastern Bloc, and I know you'd spoken about look to the Eastern Bloc for economic changes, and there was a peace agreement that had been made. Is this what we're looking for in that direction?
It's a piece. It's not the only thing, but it's a piece. It's a start.
So all the energy that was going toward that, this worked out to an agreement so far.
Again, remember, nothing changed in the original reality. You shifted to a reality in which that already existed.
Okay, thank you. Got it.
Yes?
I'm looking at the 15 sacred circuits that you had presented some time ago, and yes, working with those as alive beings. Is that what I was understanding?
Everything is an aspect of consciousness.
Yes.
So in a sense, they're alive.
And they're part of our fundamental nature here in this reality. Is that correct?
Well, they're representative of certain aspects of the underlying template of physical reality, but they're also specifically representative of certain circuitry arrangements in your brain and in your neurological network. That's why we have shared them with you as a kind of meditative tool to allow you in each representation of each circuit to rewire your brains that make you a better receiver, a better antenna for higher frequency information and energy.
And that connects to our geometry here in this reality, to above and beyond.
Well, yes, of course. It would make no sense for us to deliver information that didn't connect to the geometry of your particular reality experience.
I know some of them look very familiar, but some of them don't.
Yes. Well, these kinds of things have been used throughout the ages when people get to a certain point in their evolution and start to realize that there are representative symbols of these underlying energy forms. Then, of course, many of them may be familiar to you because they've existed before in different civilizations on your planet.
Now, when you first presented them, I did the exercises, and I can't say that I paid attention to them forever. I think I worked with it a couple of months. And
that's all right. It's up to you.
Yes. And then I'm picking them back up now. And is there a special way to use them? Just have a focus?
Yes.
Focus on them?
There is a special way to use them. Your way.
Okay.
Let your imagination be your guide as to how to put them together, either using them individually or putting them together collectively in some kind of pattern that makes sense to you. Feel your way through it and see what stands out. That's the best advice I can give you. Feel what feels correct to you. Putting them together, rearranging them, you'll find the pattern that makes sense for you. So the best way is your way.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate the connection today and the interaction.
As do we. We thank you. Good day.
Good day.